Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we will take up the part 2 of the release strategy of the purchasing documents. In the part 1, we had seen an overview of the release strategy of the purchase acquisitions. We had seen the difference between the release strategy for the purchase acquisition as well as the external purchasing documents like purchase order, contract, scheduling agreement, etc. We also had seen an overview of the characteristics, clause, and the transactions to release the purchase acquisition as well as purchase orders and other external purchasing documents. Now we will take up this part 2 where we will configure a new release strategy for the item-wise release of purchase acquisition and also test the same. And we know very well for purchase acquisition we have two release procedures. One is without classification where we can release the purchase acquisition at item level, and other is with classification where we can release the purchase acquisition both at item level as well as header level. Now here we will create a new release strategy for the item wise release of the purchase acquisition. Here this is business requirement. The business requirement what we have is they want the purchase acquisition to be released by three people. One is the purchase supervisor, second is purchase manager, third is plant manager. And the release strategy will have four characteristics. One is the plant, whose value will be 9110, purchasing group, whose value will be 9M03, purchasing document type used to create the purchase acquisition will be NB, and total value of the item, line item in the purchase acquisition will be more than 25,000 INR. We know very well the configuration involves the below steps. First is create the characteristics for the release strategy. Step number 2 is create clause for the release strategy of the purchase acquisition at item level. Step number 3, create release strategy for item-wise release of purchase acquisition. Okay. And in the step number 3, to create the release strategy, we have 4 steps. First step is create the release group. Second step is create the release codes. Third step is create the release indicator. And finally, the last step is create the release strategy. Okay. Now we will see that is, the first step. Okay, we will go to the first step and we will create the characteristics, okay, for the release strategy of the purchase acquisition at item level. Here we need this four characteristics. Here I am going to show you these characteristics here. So here in the configuration, right, we have to go to SPRO transaction code, then material management, purchasing, purchase acquisition. Okay, then if you expand purchase acquisition, then release procedure, procedure with classification, edit characteristics. Edit characteristic. Here, so when you create any characteristic, right, we have to give any name actually. Here for the first characteristic, which is plant. Okay, I have already created. I have given the name as works. Okay, how to create, and I will show you here both. Okay, for example, here underscore. I'm just showing actually because I have already created. I'm showing how to create. Okay, you have to use some characteristic name here. Then click on create. Click on create. Then you have to give the name here, description, some description name like plant, whatever it is. And here the data type you have to select here. Here we have to select character format for the plant because it is characters. And in standard SAP, the number of characters for a plant is always 4. Select 4. And here you have to always select multiple values. Very important. Then immediately you have to go to this additional data. Here tab page, and here you have to give the name of the table from which these characteristics are obtained. The fields of the characteristics are taken. Table is CBAN and the field name is WERK. Okay. Here, in my previous video, I had already shown you that, the fields for all the characteristics for the purchase acquisition are taken from the table CBAN. How to display the table CBAN? Transaction code is S11. Go to S11. Here, put the database table CBAN, click display, we can see all the characteristics here. For example, here plant, you can see the field as works. Purchasing group, field is EKGRP. Purchasing document type, purchase acquisition document type, BSART. And if I scroll down here, we can see total value of item, which is GSWRT. So these are the fields. We have to get the fields from this database table CBAN using the transaction code SC11. Okay. So here, in the additional data, we have to put the table CBAN as well as the field name. In the restrictions, okay, here go to the restrictions. Here we have to, very important, input the class type 032. Enter. Because this class type 032 is the standard SAP class for release strategy. Okay, in the descriptions, we can add the description in multiple languages, but here I have put it in. By default, we have got it in English language, English. In the values, if you want, we can give the um, values of the plants which we are going to use here. For example, 9110, whatever it is, we can give here and save. Okay, this is how to create. But already I had created one characteristic here. Okay, so here, let me show here. I'm not going to save this one because I just showed you how to create it. Okay, let me display the characteristic which I had created for plant. Okay, the name I had given FRG EBAN underscore works display. The description was plant, character format as already just now showed you, number of characters 4, multiple values I have selected, very important. Then immediately go to additional data and input the table name and field name. Field name of our plant is WERKS, which is works. Restrictions 032. It is very important. So these three important: basic data, additional data, and restrictions. Description nothing, because by default it will come, and if you want to add the description in other languages, you can add here. Okay, in values also, it is not mandatory. If you want, you can add the plant values, whichever you want to use. I have added it because I am because I will be using multiple plants for different release strategies. Okay, but this is not mandatory. Okay, this is the characteristic plant. Now let us see the second one, purchasing group. Next, the name I have given it as FRG EBAN EKGRP. Let me go here. FRG EBAN EKGRP. Okay, here display. Here, go to basic data. The description I have given as purchasing group. Data type is character format. Number of characters for purchasing group is always 3. And I have selected multiple values because we have to select multiple values always. Then immediately in the additional data, input the table name and the field name EKGRP, and restrictions, class type is 032. Okay, here in the descriptions, we can add it in multiple languages, but only it is not required. English is enough. By default, it will come. And in the values, okay, if you want, we can add the different purchasing groups we can going to use. It is not mandatory. Only basic data, description, character format, multiple values, number of characters, in additional data, table name, field name, and in the restrictions, the class type. These are very important. Okay, descriptions and values, not important. Okay, they're not mandatory. Okay, second characters we have created, characteristic I have created. Third one is purchasing document. The name I have given it as FRG underscore EBAN underscore BSCRT. Okay, let me display that one. Document type FRG underscore EBAN underscore BSCRT. Okay, click on display. Okay, so here I will go to the basic data. Here I had given description, purchase requisition document. Again, it is character format. Number of characters is 4, because for the any document type, okay, in SAP, whether it is for purchase requisition or purchase order, it is always number of characters is 4. Then multiple values, as I just now told you, I had to select for all the characteristics. Then additional data, table is CBAN, field name is BSCRT, and in the restriction 032, okay, which is the release strategy class. Then in description and here, we can add it in multiple languages if you want. Okay, but by default, it will come in English language. Okay, if you want in other languages, we can add in values. Okay, if you want, we can add the document types which we are going to use here. Okay, this is also not mandatory. You can leave it blank and save. Okay, So the third characteristic also we have seen, we have created. The fourth characteristic is total value of item. The name I have given it as FRG underscore EBAN underscore GSWRT underscore INR. This is the name I have given. Okay, GSWRT underscore INR. This is the one. Click on display. Okay, so here when I have created it, because it is total value of item. Okay, the description I have given total value of item, and since it is the value of the item, okay, amount of the item, you should always select data type as currency. It should be currency format, and number of characters I have selected 13. Okay, the currency I have used INR because I am going to use INR in India. Decimal places 2, and here for the value, okay, we have to select always multiple values as well as interval values select. Okay, for example, if I okay, then in the additional data, table name is CBAN and GSWRT. Then in the restrictions 032, okay, nothing in values. For total value of any item, this characteristic, nothing to be input here. Description here also, if you want, you can add it in different languages, but by default in English it will come here. Okay, so this is very important for total value. Okay, the data type should be currency format, and the number of characters we can input 13 or 15. Decimal places will be always 2. Currency based on your country, and multiple values you have to select, and interval values also allowed. Okay, this is very important. So I have created the all the 4 characteristics. Okay, so that is the step number 1 is over. Step number 1 is completed. The step number 2 is create the class for the release strategy of the purchase acquisition at item level. We will take it. What is the class? Okay, let me go here. Let me go down here. So I had given some name of the class actually. So here, coming to the, let me go here, edit classes here. Okay, to create the class, click here. Yeah. The name I had given was FRG underscore EBAN underscore item, and the class type should always be 032, which is a standard class type for the purchase requisition. Okay, for the any purchasing document. Okay, whether it is for purchase requisition or purchase order, it should be always 032. Okay, then click on create, but this already I have created display. Okay, I had given the description as requisition item release strategy. Then here, after we give the description, immediately we can go to the characteristics tab here, and we have to add all the characteristics what we have created for the particular release strategy. We know very well that for this release strategy of purchase requisition at item level, we had created 4 characteristics. One is the plant. Here the name I had given as FRG, EBAN works, purchasing group, EKGRP, purchase requisition document underscore BSART, and total value of item FRG, EBAN, GSWRT underscore INR. Okay, so we had to add the 4 characteristics. Okay, in the characteristic actually only these 2 things. Okay, then we have to save. Okay, for example, here if we create a new class, right, what we are going to do, for example, here we will give some name. For example, here you give some name, then here click on create. Okay, we have to give some description here, release strategy for item with release of purchase acquisition. Okay, then characters, you have to add the characteristics. Okay, plant, then purchasing group. Okay, then document type BSART, enter, ultimately total value of item like this. Okay, this everything will be captured automatically. That's all. Okay, in the basic data we have to give some description. Okay, then in characteristics we have to add the values of the the names of the characteristics what we have created, and save. Here save button. Okay, that is how I had created the class. Okay, so the class is also created. So the my class name was actually FRG underscore EBAN underscore item. Okay, which I already shown you. Okay, that I am going to show you again. This I am not going to show. I showed you how to create a new class. Okay, the class which I have created is here, frg underscore event underscore item. Put it, click on display. You can see here the description, then characteristics, the 4 characteristics what we have created. Okay. So step number 2 is also complete. Okay, now we will take up the step number 3. The step number 3 is the create the release strategy for the item wise release of purchase requisition. Okay, here it has 4 steps. Step number 1 is create the release group. Here we will name it as R2. Then the step number 2 is create the release codes. Then create the release indicator, and the last step, 4th one, is create the release strategy. And here we will call the release strategy as ZZ. Okay, so now we will go to this creating the release strategy. Okay, here let me go here. Okay. So release strategy here. First, we will start with the creation of the release group. Okay, let me go here, go back here, here. Setup release, setup procedure with classification. Click on under the purchase requisition, under the material management, purchasing, purchase requisition, release procedure, procedure with classification, setup procedure with classification. Click the here, click on that one, and here. Now the first step is create release groups. Second is release codes. Third is release indicator. Finally, the release strategies here. Okay, so first we will take up these release groups. Double click on the release group. Okay, so here we have to give the release group, and also the release group here we are going to use it as R2, and also we have to add the class which we are going to use for that one. Okay, click on new entries here, R2, and the class what we have created is for the release strategy for purchase requisition at item level is frg underscore item. Okay, and here description we can give uh, item wise release of the item wise requisition release group, something like that. Okay, whatever if you want you can give here. I had given the description as item wise release of the requisition release item wise requisition release group. Okay, so the class is frg underscore eban underscore item, and the release group I am going to name it as R2 and save. Okay, click on save. Okay, you will get this TR number. Click on continue. Okay, so the release group is created. Okay, I am creating this new release strategy. Then the next step is create the release codes. Step number 3.2, we will take up the release codes. Here, what are the release codes we are going to create here? Z1, Z2, and Z3. Okay, so let me go here. Step number 2. Okay, here, this is done. Okay, this is R2. Okay, after you save it, you can see here this release group. Release group we can save here, and our class as well as the description here. Okay, go back. Step number 1 is done. Step number 2, release codes. Double click on release codes. Here, new entries. Okay, the release group is R2. Then the release code Z1, and here the description will be purchase supervisor. As we have seen here, purchase supervisor. Z2 is purchase manager. Z3 is plant manager. Z2 are the same R2 release group. Z2 is purchase manager. Then again, release group is R2. The release code is Z3. Here it is the plant manager. Okay, enter and save. This TR number request number will come, continue. Okay, so the release codes are created for the release group part. Okay. Second step is over. Okay, step number 2, release codes. Step number 3 is create the release indicator. Okay, go back here. If you go back here, you can see the new release codes we have added here. See, for R2, Z1, Z2, Z3, purchase supervisor, purchase manager, and plant. You can see here. Okay, again back here. The third step is release indicators. Double click on the release indicator. Here we can see some release indicators already given by SAP actually. The first is yes, blocked. That means before the purchase requisition is released, it will always be in the block state. The release indicator 1 means once the purchase requisition is released, it can be converted into request for quotation. And the release indicator 2 means once the purchase requisition is released, it can be converted into request for quotation or purchase order. Okay, so we can use these release indicators, which are more than enough. No need to create any new, because once the purchase requisition is created, either it will be converted into RFQ or both RFQ and purchase order. So we will use this one. These are more than enough. Before it is released, it is always blocked. Okay, so we are not going to create any new release indicator because the standard release indicators given by SAP are more than enough. Now, finally, ultimately, we will create the release strategy here. Okay, double click on this one, release strategies here. So we have to go for new entries. Okay, here we have to first add the release group R2. Okay, the release strategy is ZZ. And here, release strategy at item level. PR release strategy at item level. You have to give some proper description. Then the release codes, what we are going to use, Z1, Z2, and Z3. Just enter. You will get them automatically. And here, to configure the release strategy, if you have to, we have to, do the release prerequisites, release statuses. Here we have to see, and also the classification. We have to add the values of the characteristics here in the classification. And finally, we can do the release simulation after we add the values of the characteristics. So here, once we have given the release strategy name, description, and added the release codes, the next step is click on the release prerequisites. What is this release prerequisites here? If I take it to the right here, this is the, when you click on the release prerequisites, you will get this pop-up here. You can see here Z1, Z2, Z3. These are vertical, and here horizontal Z1, Z2, Z3. So what is the meaning here? See, we will take it here Z1. Z1 is the first person, okay, who is going to release the purchase requisition. He is purchase supervisor. Then the second release code is Z2. Now, for Z2 to release the purchase requisition, Z1 should have released it. Because if Z1 has not released the purchase requisition, Z2 cannot release it. So here for Z2, the prerequisite is Z1 has to release it. So Z1 is at the top. Just click on checkbox here. That means if you click the checkbox here, right towards right of Z2, that means here on the top of this one checkbox here, Z1 is there. The meaning of this one is Z1 has to release the purchase requisition before Z2 can release it. Okay, then the next release code is plant manager Z3. Then for Z3 to release the purchase requisition, it should be released both by Z1 and Z2. Z1 at the top here. Okay, check this one. That means for Z3 to release the purchase requisition, it should be released by Z1 and also here Z2. Okay, at the top. So this checkbox at the top is Z1. This checkbox at the top is Z1. And this checkbox here at the top of this checkbox is Z2. That means for Z3 to release the purchase requisition, both Z1 and Z2 should release the purchase requisition. Okay, so these are the release prerequisites. We have to mark. Click and continue. Then release status here. So what is this one release status here? See here, if you in this pop-up, what you can see here, the first line here, Z1, Z2, Z3. Here, here we can see nothing are checked here. That means nobody has released the purchase requisition. Then the status or the release indicator for the requisition will be yes, which is blocked. In the second horizontal line, we can see only Z1 has released the purchase requisition here. Still it is blocked. Okay, it cannot be released. In the third line, we can see only Z1 and Z2 have released the purchase requisition. We can see Z1 and Z2. Again, it will be blocked. And the last line, fourth horizontal line, we can see all the three release codes, Z1, Z2, and Z3 have released the purchase requisition. Once the purchase requisition is released by all the three release codes, the release indicator of the purchase requisition will be 2. That means it can be converted to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, so that is about the release status. So click on continue. Then here, classification. This is very important. This is the most important step in the configuration of the release strategy. Once you click on this classification, this window will come. Okay, you can see here. Here, you will be able to see the release group. Okay, the release strategy, and the class type will be by default 032. This all will be grayed out. Okay, this will come by default because these are the related to our new release strategy. And here we have to input the values of the characteristics. Okay, for what value of the plant, purchasing group, requisition document type, and what total value of item, this release strategy at item level should be activated. Okay, then here the first thing is what is business requirement. We will see here the business requirement plant is 9110, purchasing group is M03. I will add here 9110, purchasing group is M03, purchase requisition document type is standard NB. You can see here NB, and total value of item is more than or equal to 25,000 IN. Add that one here. Here it is more than or equal to 25,000 INR. Okay, just after you input the values of the characteristics, just click on back button and you have to save. Okay, this data was saved. Okay, so we have created the release strategy for the item wise release of purchase requisition. Now here we can see one release simulation here. This one, this button. What is this one? Just it is to simulate the release. Okay, just click on this one. You will see this pop-up is coming here. Here you can see here the release code Z1, Z2, Z3. Okay, and if you click on this simulate release, another pop-up will open. Here we can see here Z1 means release possible, because the first step of the release strategy will be Z1 will release it or purchase supervisor will release it. Okay, second step is Z2 will release it, third is Z3 will release it. So here before anybody has released the purchase acquisition, the status is always it is blocked. This is very important. Okay, now we will simulate this one and see what happens. Z1, right? If I double click on Z1, Z1 will release, and then we will see what happens. Okay, double click on Z1. So it is release affected. That means release by Z1. Then release possible by Z2. Okay, that means Z2 can release it. Okay, still it is blocked. Okay, now Z2 can release it. Just double click on Z2. Okay, that means Z2 has released it. Again, it is blocked. Okay, now after Z1 and Z2 have released the purchase requisition, Z3 can release it. Okay, release is possible. Okay, now let us release by Z3. Just double click on Z3. So Z3 has released it, and we can see the release indicator has changed to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, so when Z1 and Z2 had released the purchase requisition, still it was blocked. Okay, once Z3 has released the purchase requisition, okay, the status has changed to, our indicator has changed to RFQ or purchase order. That means once Z3 has also released the purchase requisition, it can be converted to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, so that is about the release statuses. And this is the simulation, release simulation. So now the configuration of the or the creation of the release strategy is completed. Now we will test this release strategy. Okay, we will test it. How we will test it? We will test both, positive, we will do both and positive and negative test here. Because, whenever we do any testing, right, we should always do both positive. Configuration of the release strategy is complete. Now we will do the testing actually. In testing, we will do both positive and also negative test here. Okay, so in the positive test, we will create a purchase acquisition for this plant 9110 purchasing group M03, and we will use this test material RS 10001, and the price for one piece is 5,100. So for the we will put the quantity as 5. For the 5 pieces, it will be 25,500. Okay, so document type will be NB. Okay, and this purchase acquisition should be subject to release strategy, because here, if you can see here, let us again go to that characteristics here. You can see here, okay, the for this plant 9110 purchasing group M03 purchase acquisition document type NB standard. If the total value of the requisition line item is more than 25,000 rupees, the release strategy ZZ will be activated. Okay, now we will create the purchase requisition here. Okay, let me go here. The transaction code to create purchase requisition is ME51N. Put ME51N, enter. Here. Here, the first thing is the document type should be NB. We have to select proper document type. Then the test material is RS1 0001. RS1 0001. Quantity is 5. The plant is 9110 and the purchasing group will be M03. M03. Okay, just press enter. Okay, we can see the valuation price here. The price for one piece is 5,100 and total price is 25,500. And here we can see as soon as you press enter, we can see this release strategy tab is activated here. Okay, with the release strategy ZZ and release group ARC. Okay, which we have just now actually created. Okay, so now we can see that the release strategy is activated and our test is successful. What we will do, we will just save this one. Okay, the purchase position number created is 10016,103. We can see here at the bottom. Okay, now we will display this purchase requisition. Click on this other requisition button. By default, the same whatever the requisition created. Okay, it will come. Okay, here it has come here. Okay, we can also see the all the details here. Okay, so now we will release this purchase requisition. Okay, so how to release the purchase requisition? We will go to the transaction code to release the purchase requisition, which is ME54N. Here, put here ME54N, ME54N, enter. Okay, so here, click on this, other requisition number, and what is the here? The number is 16103. Requisition number is here. We can see here 16103. We can see here. Okay, so 16103. Put the requisition number 16103. Enter. Okay, go to the release strategy tab. Here, okay, this is here ME54N. I think yeah, we have to go to the release. Okay, ME54N. Go to ME54N. Enter. Enter. Release purchase requisition. Okay, here we have to click other purchase requisition. Other purchase requisition. Here put the number here. Yeah, it is already there here. Yeah, 16103. Okay, here in the release strategy tab we can see here it has to be released by 3 release codes Z1, Z2 and Z3. Okay, here here we can see the release options. See here it is green. If you click here, so it means Z1 will release it. Okay, that which is the purchase manager. Just click on this green checkbox here. So it has released. Okay, release already here release. Status is release affected. Okay, that one has released. Now click on release checkbox, this green button here for Z2. Okay, Z2 has released. Now Z3 can release it actually. Z3. Okay, click on this release. Okay, now all the 3 have released and the release indicator is changed to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, so here for example, I can cancel the release by all the 3 again here. Cancel. Okay, anytime. Okay, anybody can cancel it and bring it back to the original. Okay, so now I will show you again. Okay, so first Z1 has to release. So before Z1 can release, we can see here the release indicator is blocked. You can see here it is yes, blocked. Status is indicator is blocked. I will release it. Okay, now Z2 can release it. Here release possible by Z2, but still it is blocked. Okay, now I will release by Z2, and here Z3 can release, but still it is blocked because it is not released by Z3. Okay, now if we release by Z3, the release indicator will change it to number 2, which is, it can be converted to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, now I will release by Z3 here, release. See, now the release indicator has changed to 2. That means this purchase requisition can be converted to RFQ or purchase order. Okay, after releasing this one, we have to save. We should not forget to save. Then only it will be released. Okay, now we can see here purchase requisition changed. That means the status here we can see it as 3, means the release affected. Okay, so this is the positive test. Now we will also do one negative test. Okay, negative test means we have to create one purchase requisition for a value less than this 25,000 rupees. Okay, that means if we create a purchase requisition for the plant with this purchasing 9110, purchasing group M03 with purchase requisition document APNB and value less than 25,000 rupees, even 24,999. Okay, this purchase requisition, I mean, should not be subject to the release strategy. Okay, we will create one purchase requisition here for, okay, let me go back here. Okay, ME51N. Okay, here, enter. I will use the same material RS-1 RS-10001. Quantity I will use it as 4. Okay, here the total value will be less than 25,000. 9110. Purchasing group is the M03. Okay, enter. Okay. So here, what is the, if you go to the valuation tab, we can see the total value is 20,400, which is less than 25,000 rupees. Here, we can see that, the release strategy tab is not activated here. It is not there. Okay, even if we click on check, I do not see any release strategy tab here at the item level. Okay, now also we also got no messages issued during check. Okay, that means, since the value of the requisition is less than 25,000 rupees, okay, their release strategy is not activated. Okay, and the important thing is the document type PNB for a purchase requisition of document type PNB for the plant 9110 and for the purchasing group M03 and the value of the purchase requisition item is less than 25,000, no release strategy is activated. That means the negative testing is successful. I will save this. Okay, so both the positive and negative test are successful, and this will complete the configuration and testing of the release strategy for the item-wise release of the purchase requisition. In my next video, we will create and test the release strategy for total release of purchase requisition. Okay, so till then, see you and thank you very much.